What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined as always by Danny Cole, DC, UPenn's finest, Chris Coacher, CB, Coacher Boy. We have lots to talk about on today's episode. We have to finish the recap of Week 7 in the NFL. Sunday Night Football was a blast. Monday Night Football games were good. We got a preview Week 8. I don't know who's on a bye week this week, but there is, plenty of football to discuss. Bryce Young making a start, if anyone cares. And then we obviously have to give our hots and locks for Week 8. And then on me, I take 100% blame for this. We have to do our NBA award predictions because we forgot to do them whenever we recorded on Sunday. That's entirely on me. When this comes out, it's 2 days late to the party. We're really 1 day late to the party. And I think only my award predictions will look a little fugazi because of that. But just a reminder before we get started, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us on audio platforms, leave a like, 5-star review, all those good things. And with that being said, we're really just going to get right into the Week 7 recap. On every single episode, you will see me wearing some kind of hat, whether it's a snapback, whether it's a dad style hat. I always got to have something to complete the outfit. And the only place where I get my hats is lids.com. Lids.com has so many different brands, and of course they have a bunch of different styles. Like I just said, it could be dad hat, snapback, it could be fitted, it could be Velcro back. Whatever you want, they got it. And with the NFL season coming up, I know you're going to want to rock and represent your favorite squad. Me personally, I'm a big Eagles guy, and I love this 47 brand throwback hat that I got from lids.com. Or if you're more of a snapback guy, I also got this NBA champions Boston Celtics new era cap from lids.com as well. If you like either of those hats and you feel like you want one to represent your squad, click the link in the description below. Whether it's New Era or 47, both links will take you right to lids.com. And the best thing about Lids, they always have some type of deal going on their website. So make sure you click that link and check out any deals they got going on at lids.com. We can start with Danny Steelers, who Russell Wilson made his first start of the season. And whether he played good or not is very subjective, but they did get a dominating win against the New York Jets. I want to pass it to Danny first. Obviously, I mean, floor is yours, whether you want to talk about how the defense held the Jets in check all night or how you thought the offense looked with Mr. Unlimited back there over Justin Fields. But yeah, floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't think that Mr. Unlimited was, so to say, the answer. But I do think he was, quote unquote, the truth, not the answer. So like he provided what he was. He provided what you expected out of him. He didn't blow you out of the water. He threw up 50-50 balls. He pushed the field. And that's what you expect out of a veteran quarterback, someone who knows how to read a cover 2 shot and take, let's say, my guys one-on-one, let's give him a chance to make the play. And when you give George Pickens to make a chance to make play, that's what happens. So in all honesty, I'm happy with it because is he less athletic than Justin Fields? Yes. Is he going to be a better field reader? Is he going to be better passing game? Yes. So both are true. When it comes to playoff time, they have a pretty good chance to make the playoffs right now, as all things stand. You need someone like Russell Wilson. And the reality is, like, Justin Fields' pass game is not good enough to win you a playoff game. We're not in the 90s anymore. We're not in the 70s. You can't run the ball 50 times to win a playoff game. So I love Justin Fields, but that's the truth. Like, you can't be unreliable throwing the ball and win a playoff game. So that's why I think they made the change. In terms of the Jets, their season's cooked. Rodgers is cooked. Devontae Adams is cooked. He's not really cooked, but I mean, they're cooked. He said, Devontae Adams is like, we need to be better. Like, you've been here for a week. What do you mean you need to be better?
He's right, though. I mean, they need to be better. He said something along the lines of, like, that's just been the story of this team. He's like, bro, what do you know about this team? You just got here. No, I absolutely agree. I mean, like, from a Jets defensive standpoint, I think this game just clearly showed that they were not prepared. The guy they made head coach, going from calling preparing for the defensive side of the ball to preparing for an entire game plan is two completely different things. And I just think firing Saleh is now even proving that you just fired him just because you wanted to. You thought you could get some interim head coach boost by firing Robert Saleh, but this would have been the perfect game that you could have meshed. The offense wasn't great, but you got big Brees Hall runs. Garrett Wilson was still making some plays. Adams didn't have a great day. He thought he dropped a couple passes, but I'll assume Devontae Adams and look, I won't give Rodgers and Wilson the benefit of the doubt of eventually gaining chemistry, but I'll give Adams and Rodgers the benefit of the doubt. They played together spectacularly for years, so it's all a matter of just Adams catching the ball. But those things combined with Saleh calling the defense, this would have been a perfect time to mesh everything together and turn the season around. But no, it's a new head coach. It's a middle of the season hire on a win now squad. Even if you aren't going to win the Super Bowl, that should still be your goal. And it just doesn't seem like that's where they are in the headspace. And it's really disappointing because I would have loved to see Saleh with this offense that I think is going to eventually build some juice. There was some things there. I really thought so. But, yeah. Chris, I did want to ask, I wanted to ask you, though, the Steelers offense. Like Danny mentioned, he was like, you can't run it. You can't run it that many times in a playoff game and win. Except in this instance, they fed Najee Harris and they reaped the benefits of it. What honestly, did you think that Harris having a good game resulted in maybe the Jets' lack of preparation? Oh, Justin Fields isn't back there, so maybe they're not going to look to be as dynamic on the ground, making a split between them two. Or was it kind of like, oh, it's Russell Wilson back there, we're going to have to respect his talent as a thrower? What did you think resulted in just Najee's breakout game per se this year?
I think it was a little bit of both of what you said. But before I even get into it, I do want to say one thing about the Jets. I think the Jets need to figure out and understand that the offense should be centered around Brees Hall and not centered around Aaron Rodgers telling you what you should do. It should be centered around him. But I do want to say from the Steelers standpoint, from the Jets defense standpoint, I think it's a little bit of both. Because when Justin Fields back there, Najee's like the second best runner, you can say, like depending on what you want, he's like the second best runner back there. And then without Justin Fields, Najee's the guy. But then, like you said, you have to respect how Russell Wilson can push the ball down the field and extend plays too. Still at this age, he still did pretty well, in my opinion. So I think it was a little bit of both, and just being unprepared as a defense as a whole. Like I think they were out of position just watching. Like sometimes it was like yeah, Russell Wilson was making things happen, but it's like at the same time, these dudes wide open. Like I feel like some coverages was blown. Like some the chemistry isn't there. And I think I forgot what sports I was watching, but they said basically the Jets is a roster, not a team. I think it is. It's just a bunch of really good names, and I think that showed on defense. Like they just weren't prepared. They weren't flying to the ball, in my opinion. After the first quarter, they did okay, but I think after that it just wasn't that. So I think it was a little bit of Najee being the biggest threat, so you don't necessarily have to worry about the running part of it. So the running part of the quarterback. So I think they kind of took their foot off the gas there, but also then you can't take your foot off the pass game as we like defending the pass game either. So I think it just kind of just sold this game like as a whole. I think as a whole, they kind of just sold it as a whole group.
Yeah, I think that they're a roster, not a team thing. I think that really that resonates with this Jets team. And to be entirely honest, I was starting to think about the Eagles that way, like a little bit. It's like, why do we have all these good players and we're just not a good team? But I'll pump the brakes on that. They're 4-2. I'll try not to complain too much. They just stomped the Giants, which they should have, which is good because in the past, especially like against the Browns and other teams that they should have stomped, they'd let them stay in the game. This one, they took care of business. I'm not going to complain. But the Jets, it feels like this is just a bunch of names, and they are actually just a bad team. They would have to. What would they have to go? 8-2, 8-3 the rest of the way, something like that. I don't think you can't go 8-3. I think they're 5-2 already. But point being, they've shown me nothing.
8-1
to where they'd have to go 8-1 to get what 10 wins.
8. Well, no, there's 10 games left, right, for them because they played 7 games or 2.
They're 2-5, right? Yeah, about to say.
Yeah, so 8-2, 8-2.
They'd have to go 8-2. They've shown me nothing that lets me know this team got to switch and they can. especially even if what I said, I think the offense is going to start building up. But now the defense doesn't look great. And I can't even say, oh, it was the first game past Salah. You just got torched by Najee Harris, which solid back. I've always been on the train that he's like he's a good back, not a great back. And then like we're talking post Seattle Russell Wilson. And if we want to talk about Wilson's performance specifically, which Danny kind of touched upon it, but Wilson didn't even play a spectacular game.
He was rusty. I don't think he's lost talent. I just think he's rusty.
Yeah, the arm strength could be a little lacking from what it once was. I mean, we're talking about one of the best deep balls in NFL history in his prime. Yeah. Now, you saw like he underthrew Pickens a little bit, but all of them resulted in good things because Pickens made an amazing one-handed catch. He made a catch off of the defender's helmet, and then he drew a PI. So, they resulted in good things, but it'd be a lot better if you could hit your guy in stride or give him a true jump ball if that's your intention, throwing it behind him, it's like, it'll lead to maybe – it could get dangerous because DBs could turn around and pick those off. But I thought it was really over when he went to throw that screen or that bubble, and he just put it right in the dirt. I was like, oh, my God. I was like, at that rate, I was like, I think Justin Fields might get back in the game.
That's when I put my tweet out. That's when I put my tweet out. Get Sierra's husband off the field, and literally right after that, I think he read my tweet and just didn't miss it.
From a numbers performance, he did great.
Yeah,
it's just me and Danny. We watched the game. It's just like, this didn't feel like a 250 plus yard, 2 touchdowns, no picks game. Didn't feel that way. Didn't look that way.
I think what it was though, he was on time. Like he was timely. Like when they needed a play, he made it. And I think that was the biggest deal. Because Justin Fields makes plays, but sometimes it's like when they need to make a play, he just does it. And I think that was the difference between what Russell Wilson started last week. Like when they
Are you saying he has the LeBron gene? He has the clutch
LeBron gene.
Who, Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
No, he's just Mr. Unlimited.
Well, Russell Wilson is very blessed, I'll say, from God. So whenever he needs to play,
if you follow him on Twitter, he'll let you know.
That's what I'm saying.
He could break the all-time passing yards mark. He'll be like, I didn't do it. God did. So.
And then let's move on to somebody who's not blessed by God. It's Baker Mayfield popping zins on the sideline.
Come on, man.
Nah, all jokes aside.
Our guy Baker's still very blessed, even if he is a zin baby.
Popping zins. That's weak.
You're popping zins and popping hammies. That's what's going down in Tampa Bay.
And popping ankles, of course.
Chris, I'm assuming your eyes were glued to the TV for this one. We're going right from the Steelers now to the Ravens. So we can start with you. Not so much the offense that I wanted to ask you about. I mean, kind of speaks for itself. I mean, we can still break it down. But I wanted to ask about the defense because through 2 drives, Tampa Bay had their number entirely. I don't want to credit it all to Mike Evans pulling a hamstring because that's just not really how it went. But what did you see from the defense after those first 2 drives that you sort of just shifted the game into Baltimore's favor?
It's settling in, and it's unfortunate because other Ravens defense didn't usually have to settle in, like they'd be settling in as soon as the clock started. But this defense sometimes has to, it takes a little while to get everybody flying around and get everybody on the same accord. And I think it's only going to get better as the team, the new defensive coordinator and his people, as Zach Orr, as they get more and more acclimated, I think that'll be something that happens a little faster. But yeah, I think it's just, and also Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are really hard to deal with at the end of the day. Now, Mike Evans was on one leg, but still, as you can tell, very hard to deal with. So I think that played a part in it too. And I think also them playing as many backs as they did and the way they rotated them out, I think that kind of threw our defense off a little bit too. Because usually, like, we stopped the run for the most part. It's just the pass that been giving us trouble this year. But it's like we couldn't do either at a point. And I was like, I think like that's what I meant by kind of settling in. And I think the big plays kind of helped too. Because like we kind of talked about just before, like they got the big plays when they needed them. So I think that's kind of what, gave the defense a little boost, gave them some momentum, going back out there the next time they did. So I think it was just a factor settling in. And one big factor there is Roquan, because as the game gets going, he gets going even more. Like it's like he gets into every single play, whether it's a pass across the middle, whether it's a run in the backfield. So I think just having that leader, when it's time, they do enough. And I think that's good enough right now. But I think it needs to get better. But I think for right now, it's good enough. Oh, Tom, can't hear you. I can't.
I can't either.
My bad. I was on mute. That's my fault. Nothing on y'all end. But yeah, I mean that after that red zone pick, which was an egregious throw by Baker Mayfield, horrible decision. Just throw that away. That's what they were saying on the Manning cast as well. But it's just a bad ball, interception. Next time out, you underthrow it again, interception.
Yep.
And you're not beating the Baltimore Ravens if you lose the turnover battle by even one.
Mm-hmm.
You lost it by 2. Yeah, no shot. Because you're giving Lamar Jackson, Derek Henry extra possessions. Dare I say Rashad Bateman now in this conference? Dare I say Mark Andrews has finally made it to the party? Now, guys, now everybody's just starting to heat up. Like Zay Flowers had the big day. I think it was either last week or two. It was last week. Yeah. Rashad Bateman had a big day. While Lamar and Rashad Bateman big days will obviously go hand in hand. And then Derrick Henry had a big day, who was bottled up for majority of the game. But it's like I said, the more you try to get at him, the better he is going to be. The more you place the bruises on him for whatever reason, it just gets him fired up, and he turns into a completely different guy. He's been. He and Saquon have been the bar none best 2 backs in the league, and I'd probably say Derrick Henry's been the bar none best back in the league this year. I believe he has 2 AFC Offensive Player of the Weeks.
Yeah,
Lamar has 2 AFC Offensive Player of the Weeks, and they're alternating, taking turns destroying everybody in the conference.
Their alter ego.
I think that's what's been the cool part about it too. Like Derrick Henry's had like a 40-yard run every fourth quarter, or every third. Like it's like a run that closes the door. And you usually kind of wait on Lamar for that as a Ravens fan over the last couple of years. To have another guy be able to do that, it's insane. And I think that's what breaks the spirits a lot of times. Like okay, Bateman got a big catch, cool, but like now we got to deal with Derrick Henry for the next 20 yards. It's like it's a lot to deal with. So I think that's been helpful too.
Yeah, Danny, I wanted to ask you because I saw me and Giovanni were talking about his fantasy matchup this week. You were starting Baker Mayfield in fantasy, by the way. I just want to let you know. Don't know if you want to change that at all. But how do the Bucs proceed without God? Definitely going to be without Godwin, and then you're without Mike Evans for, I believe, until they said week 11, which now isn't that far. We're heading into week 8, but that's about a month without arguably your best offensive weapon. What can they do to stay afloat in the time without their 2 wide receivers?
Sign Robert Woods.
Robert Woods?
Yeah,
that's nasty, man. You better off giving him the Lamar treatment, signing up like Dez Bryant, Deshaun Jackson.
Nah, man.
Willie Snead.
Robert Woods.
Demarcus Robinson.
Demarcus Robinson's got to get traded for. So they're in contention for Cooper Kupp. If they get Cooper Kupp, they're working devil magic. The Baker to Cooper Kupp was a real thing before in the past, too.
I don't think it was.
He played for the Rams.
Yeah, Kupp was out for like the entire season. He never threw it to
the entire year.
Yeah, his main part. His I don't think they practiced together.
On the sideline, he was there.
Yeah, he probably caught like a ball, like literally from.
They were teammates. They were teammates.
They were teammates. They probably kicked it. I'm gonna assume that like Cooper Kupp drinks a mean beer, but yeah, I just don't know about like. I know there was reports about the idea of Kupp being traded and whatnot.
Nah, he's gone. I said that a few weeks ago, and you guys kind of like shut it down. Like Kupp's getting traded.
I'll put $100. I'll put $100 right now. He finished his year as a Ram.
Yeah, I did that too, Danny. I remember. Damn, my bad.
Because you weren't. You didn't like it.
Because he's not going to get traded.
Maybe I'm a Cooper Kupp hater.
Because that's how 99% of testing the market or this guy's been getting calls for around the league. 99% of the time, nothing happens. And
I don't like betting on players getting traded, but I do think
it's because you don't believe that. It's because you don't believe it.
I don't bet. I'm not.
It's
I don't
because
bet
they
on
won.
that.
It's because they won last week. They won last week. He's back for the Thursday night game. You win that. You look up your 3-5. The rest of the division sucks. And then you're going to get Puka back. And then we're talking about the Rams winning the division, and it's absolute glory. I don't think he's going to get traded. And I think it really revolves around them beating the Raiders. I really do.
You think they're going to you think that they're going to beat the Vikings?
Matt Stafford, I'm gonna pick the Vikings. Like, don't sweat that. But it's just like Cup's coming back. Matt Stafford, I've seen him do it all. It's not like improbable for them to get this win. I'll say that. And the best thing you can do is, as a team, is follow whoever. If you are playing a team after the Detroit Lions, you are set up for success.
That's fair. I just think the Vikings are everything the Rams are, but better.
That's fine. That's fine. Again, I'm picking the Vikings too. I'm just telling you that the McVay is going to look at the film. The Lions do a great job as an offense dissecting any defense, and they dissected a Brian Flores defense. They're going to look at their guys like, okay, we got Kyron Williams. He's not Jahmyr Gibbs, but we got Kyron Williams. We're getting Cooper Kupp back, who's not Justin Jefferson, but is going to give you hell all day. And then we have Matt Stafford, who's the second most seasoned guy in the NFL to this point. I believe the second oldest starting quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, behind Rodgers. So, but enough. I'm sorry. I don't know how we got to the topic of Cooper Kupp. Is there anything we want to discuss more about this this Bucs Ravens game?
Todd Bowles should be fired for having Chris Godwin and anything like that. That's my personal opinion. Only because I'll say this. Only because Mike Evans already's out because of the hamstring at that point. And I think not just because of the score, like I get that, but erring on the side of caution, losing both your top targets, both the top targets in team history almost, or probably so. I don't agree with that. Now, being fired, I'm gassed. I don't think he should be fired, but like it's the age-old Thibodeau thing. All the coaches now, you just have to be smarter than that, in my opinion. You're not winning that.
I don't agree with you there. I think what he said is fine. He said he was a football player. He wanted to be out there.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Bowles. Here's the thing with that. It's kind of like it's unfortunately for Todd Bowles, you can't have it both ways. Because I also believe it. I text Danny. I was like, why are y'all even on some superhero stuff right now? You're getting destroyed. There's under a minute left. You're down 10, bro. Just chill. But then again, at the same time, if they score, now he looks like a genius, and nobody gets hurt.
If they score and then get an onside kick, which they already did 10 minutes ago.
Well,
so one in.
I'm not saying all that. I'm not saying if. I'm still saying they should have just given up. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
But if they score and no one gets hurt, it's like, oh, they were so close. But if anyone who put their two eyes to the screen know that the Ravens went into Tampa Bay and took their lunch money. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But there was another Monday night game, so we do have to talk about that just a little bit. Wasn't my boy's fault. James Conner is a workhorse. Just want to throw that out there. I don't think either of you guys watch this one?
I was like paying attention to it a little bit, like on Red Zone, but not really.
I would say because it was an ESPN Plus like specifics. I didn't know if anybody got their hands on it.
Nope.
I caught some clips.
Okay, well, I'll give you the quick rundown. The score was ugly, but I enjoyed watching the game personally. Two of my favorite quarterbacks, Jalen Reagor. This was the best way to find out that he still is in the NFL. Catches a bomb from Justin Herbert, 5 yards from the end zone, fumbles it, goes out of bounds. Cardinals ball. Justin Herbert's leading receiver in this game, Will Dissly. Yeah. And then on the other side of the ball, I'm just convinced Kyler Murray just doesn't like Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what I'm getting to, because it's not that Marvin Harrison is getting strapped up. He's really not. He is such a winner one-on-one. I just don't think Kyler likes him.
What if Kyler has a trouble seeing over these offensive linemen?
Believe it or not, I think you're onto something.
But he looks so smart with his like behind line, like when he's in the shotgun, like you look at him, look at everybody else, like this dude looks really.
It's like
Bryce Young's worse though.
Yeah, with Fields and Hurts, it's kind of just like they don't want to throw to the middle. I mean, Hurts is a little bit better, but those guys, it's a preference to get the ball deep and downfield on the sidelines. But like Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, they physically cannot do it. They can't see. That's what makes Drew Brees so special. He was 6 foot, being really generous, 6 foot, and he let the ball go anywhere he wanted. But yeah, not too much on that one. We can get into our Week 8 preview though. Did we want to start? I mean, we really kind of talked about the Thursday game, to be entirely honest, with Vikings Rams.
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about Cooper Kupp's return. Right?
Yeah, I think
it's going to be.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is Cooper Kupp the still the same Triple Crown guy from a couple years ago? Obviously not.
Still Cooper Kupp.
This is exactly him being Cooper Kupp. The motion Brian Flores has to game plan for him alone. Is the rest of the guys on the offense really that much to scheme up for? Probably not. But Tutu Atwell is still a fine player. Matt Stafford is a Hall of Famer. Kyron Williams is one of the best backs in the league. And Blake Corum got some touches last week. Just saying. But Cooper Kupp, his ability to essentially dissect as a receiver, dissect a defense pre-snap, it's one of the best weapons in the NFL. And I think that truly takes this Rams offense from like a top 5 pick team to like their offensive alone is going to get him in the wild card. Like, I just think that much of Puka and Cooper Kupp and their pre-motion snap and the way they win routes from the slot and all those things. But granted, I am taking the Vikings though. But I think this is going to be a really good one. I really do, because when you're a team, like I said earlier, if you're following up the Lions, they give you the playbook. They give you the keys how to beat said team. But I think if anybody's going to learn from mistakes, it's going to be KOC and Brian Flores, though. I'm really interested to see how Sam Darnold bounces back after a loss. And then I can only pray for the Rams secondary for what Justin Jefferson's about to do to them. But
get ready to learn Ramese.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not going to be pretty. I think Brian Flores is going to. This is like ultimate coaching. Brian Flores, defensive mastermind. Sean McVay, offensive mastermind. Who will win? Let's watch it. Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, even so, if there's anything to shine about the Rams defense, Jared Verse has been awesome. So, leave here with something. Anything to say before we want to move on to the Sunday slate?
Nope. There.
Lots of games. So I'll say here's some ones that we can speed through for sure. The Ravens, rare time. We're not going to preview a Ravens game. They're going to destroy the Cleveland Browns.
Also, you did say no one's on bye this week. I want to let you know that.
No one is on bye. Okay, I thought we had like a egregious amount of games, but we don't have the Monday Night Football. We don't have the Monday Night Football header or double header, which is great.
Wait, isn't that weird though? Like, look, when nobody's on bye, they just put a standalone game. But when someone is on bye, they put 2 Monday Night Football doubleheaders.
Yeah,
and they put what is this scheduling, dude?
I don't know.
Questionable.
Another one from the 1 o'clock window that we really don't need to discuss all too much. The Lions are
Packers, Jags.
Oh. Hey, Danny, they learned their scheduling from the WNBA. That's where they learned it from. WNBA to put the best game on a Tuesday at 4:30 in the afternoon.
And we'll still be there. We'll be there.
Chris, guess what? Steelers play the Chiefs on Christmas on a Wednesday. Come on now.
Yeah,
it's Christmas though.
But I turned on Netflix the other day and I forgot they were doing that thing. I was like, "Oh, what's this? Like a little show?" I'm like, "Oh, it's actually football." I forgot they were even doing it on
right,
Netflix.
That's gonna be on Netflix. That is so funny.
I think it's cool, but weird at the same time. Like, I don't know how to feel about it.
Crank on Netflix at 9 a.m. on Christmas morning. Turn the Steelers Chiefs on.
Nope, I'm firing up crack streams.
Steelers Chiefs Netflix.
Yeah, but the Titans are gonna get destroyed by the Lions. It's
closer game than you think because the Titans defense is good.
I really don't think so. I don't think they're good enough to stop Sonic and Knuckles, but
unfortunately, they're gonna be expecting someone in the wreckage, brother. Calvin Ridley, that is you. You will be in the wreckage. Calvin Hopkins is free. You will be in the wreckage. I'm sorry.
So that's 2 games. I don't mean to sound like a homer here. The best game in this window is either going to be Texans Colts with Anthony Richardson versus CJ Stroud, or it's going to be Eagles Bengals.
It's Eagles Bengals. Like,
They did get flexed out of primetime. I do just want to say that, which it's kind of crazy, but it's or flexed out of the 4 p.m. window, but for the game that it's going to be,
I think it's rightfully so. Like,
yeah, let the kids have their shine. They've earned it. It's just that since they did that, the Eagles and Bengals have been like they've been like actually Eagles and Bengals, so it's like pretty funny.
Yeah, it's very funny.
But yeah, I mean, we're
talking
talking
about the Eagles and Bengals.
Yeah,
heavyweight matchup. Two of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. Two of the more premier quarterbacks in the NFL.
Is it the top two, Danny?
It could be. I think the Dolphins are better than both of them when they're healthy.
Same. But close. We thought the same. That's what I'm talking about, Danny. I knew what you was going to say. That's my guy.
But yeah, the two of the premier ass defenses.
Okay.
But yeah, I think where the Eagles have the edge is the run game and offensive line, which surprisingly the Bengals have had a run game this year somehow. Chase Brown looks decent. Zach Moss looks decent. Like, they don't have a solidified run game, but like for the amount of times that Joe Burrow's just dropping back and throwing, the Bengals run game looks okay, especially with negative game script. So I'm gonna love this matchup. I do give a slight edge to the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is because of their defensive line advantage. I think the Bengals D-line is going to struggle to generate pressure on Jalen Hurts, even with Jordan Mailata out. And Trey Hendrickson on Fred Johnson is going to be the real true matchup to watch, in my opinion. Can he get home pressure on Jalen Hurts, who's been holding the ball probably for, I don't know the stats, but I think it's probably an all-time career high rate, which it feels like at least. So I think that is really the key matchup is Hendrickson versus Fred Johnson, Johnson and Johnson. So that's my key matchup in the game. And Quinion Mitchell and Jamar Chase is obviously premier matchup to watch. He's been locking down every wide receiver one. Jamar Chase, probably about as good as a premier guy you can get to show your skills against. So let's see it. I lean Eagles -3 here. I think even on the road they can go in and win, and that would put the Bengals into a spiral of 3-5. Honestly, both teams seem to be playing for their season.
Yeah, real quick, just before I get into what I think about the previewing the game, I have two quick questions for you, Danny, specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, and these are requests from Giovanni. Deshaun Elliott or Cooper DeJean?
As what?
As like, who's better in the simplest term?
I mean, I need more from Cooper, but I think in the small sample size, Cooper's better. But I need to see more. He's played like 3 games.
Okay, and then my next question is Quinion Mitchell or Joey Porter?
Quinion Mitchell.
Okay,
but no,
that's all I really.
I mean, it's close. It's close. It's close though. I think
we were just arguing it. He told me to relay it to you, but yeah, we don't got to get too caught up.
I think Joey Porter and Quinion Mitchell are here and here, and I think Deshaun Elliott is behind Cooper DeJean, but I think his 7 games of work is better because he has 7 games of work. Like, he's not that far behind. But I think it's pretty close in general. But
yeah, we can get back on topic. I just wanted to bring it up. That's what because Giovanni swore you were gonna say like Elliott not close, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll see. Anyway, back to the Eagles though. I like your key matchup, Fred Johnson versus Trey Hendrickson. And Fred Johnson's just going to be the key until Mailata's back from this hamstring injury, and they're probably gonna
put Fred Johnson at guard. Let him play guard after Mailata's back. He's awesome.
I would say yeah, but I mean Becton works really well with Lane Johnson. But even he came out, and Tyler Steen looked great. Look, you're just gonna look good next to Lane Johnson is my point. But I think I want to say the key, something I'd really like to see the Eagles do, get out on the edge, because you have linemen like Cam Jurgens who move in space entirely well, and you have a running back who can get to the edge and dart upfield in a millisecond. The change of direction is as good as ever as it has been for Saquon Barkley. My personal key matchup is I think the key matchup is as blatant as it gets, but it's going to be Slay and Mitchell versus Higgins and Chase. Because on the see, people will talk about that, but the other side of the ball, Smith and Brown get to go against Taylor Britt and excuse me, who else will be the other quarter? It's not. It wouldn't be DJ Wagner, would it?
Dax Hill, maybe.
Yeah, it's like, and this could be like pure casual. I don't know their starting corners off the top of my head. Apologies.
That's not an apology, dude. They're not good.
Their defense is nothing to write home about this year. I apologize, but that's my point. Is that AJ? So you see the matchup of AJ Brown and Devontae Smith versus Jamar Chase, T Higgins. It's like, oh, these are great wide receiver matchups. Until you realize one of them is actually going to eat, and then the other one, they're probably going to eat, but it's a lot more questionable because they're going to get Slay, who's very experienced. They're probably going to have him on T, if I had to guess. And they'll probably put Quinion Mitchell on Jamar Chase, which that's going to be the test of the century. Like, it doesn't get a lot better than Jamar Chase in this league. So we're really going to find out what Quinion Mitchell's made of. He's done a good job thus far. The guys he's had to play, he's been doing great, but it's time to find out what he's really about. Jalen Hurts has looked better over the last 2 weeks. We're not turning the ball over. We're putting the ball downfield to your playmakers. But I would really like to see us just rely on Saquon again. You know, you can't go wrong. The guy's racked up 2 NFC Offensive Player of the Weeks. Again, arguably the best running back in the league this year. I'd probably lean Derrick Henry a little bit, but he's right up there. And then as for the defense, again, the defense has terrorized 2 straight bad offensive lines. While Joe Burrow is much better than those other 2 quarterbacks, and the weapons are much better than those 2 weapons, I see a chance for Jalen Carter and Josh Sweat and Nakobe Dean, who had a great week last week, to take advantage of a bad offensive line and, you know, to essentially keep this grind going of defensive performances that they've been able to stack up against an elite offense who struggled against the Giants, which I think the Eagles might be able to take something from that, which they just beat the Giants, but maybe they can look at the Giants. What did they do to limit the Bengals to 17? Maybe they can see it. Chris, what do you think the key matchup would be in this game? And what are you looking forward to? Look, no one loves stars more than Chris, and the stars will simply be out. This might as well be Hollywood. This might as well be a Lakers game.
Bro, that is exactly what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, run all over the field and do cool stuff. Catch the ball. Catch it when you shouldn't catch it if your name's AJ Brown. Pin the ball against your helmet like you do. Do those things. That's what I'm looking forward to this game like I'm 6 years old. But I just want to see the stars collide, and I want to see a high-scoring game. And I think it's possible because I think what both of you guys said is very true about the Bengals defense, but even though the Eagles defense has been playing better, they've shown that you can get up on them too, like and go get some big yardage plays. So I'm just hoping for the latter. Sorry, Tone. That it's just a bunch of big plays. But I hope y'all come out on top. I do hope y'all win. But I do because I do not want to see the Bengals do anything good. So I just want to see like a really cool game. I want to see Hurts and Burrow play well too, because it's literally probably the most star-studded matchup you can have right now. Unless it's Ravens, Chiefs, or something like that. You know, like just with all the guys are just having different skill players that are stars. I'm just looking forward to that. And honestly, matchup-wise, and it's kind of overall, I want to see which defense holds up more. Because, you know, each side has crazy weapons. Eagles more. But which defense can hold up? Which defense can hold the other team to not score 30 points? And I think that team wins. So I'm looking forward to that like little chess battle right there.
Yeah. I think the result is going to go very close to Eagles to the Bengals Chiefs, in my opinion. The Eagles are like, to be completely honest, they're just assembled with like the same defensive like front as the Chiefs. The corners aren't going to wow you, but they're solid. The linebacker play from the Chiefs is obviously better than the Eagles, but I just think it's going to be a similar game script.
saying McAduffie and Quinion Mitchell are solid, not great, is certainly a take.
No. I'm talking about the rooms in general, behind the rooms behind them.
I mean, the Eagles' corner room, it ain't bad. Like, I think it's a good corner room.
I think it's solid,
especially considering with how Cooper DeJean has gotten off to his start. When you consider how he's been in coverage this year, that's what's taken me off guard entirely. He's been solid in coverage. He is a madman on the nickel blitz, which has been a pleasant surprise. And of course, he's a great tackler, even on standard run plays. So that brings the room to an entirely different level.
Message to Philadelphia sports radio, Philadelphia everyone. Everyone complains about the Eagles. They're 4-2, right? They're one Saquon Barkley drop away from being 5-1. And their one loss, they didn't play AJ Brown. They didn't play Devonta Smith. Nick Sirianni got to call the entire game.
Here's the
Dallas
thing.
Goedert was kind of banged up. The reality is, it's not an excuse, but your offense was not what it is.
Here's the thing. I think more people we have more of an issue with how we are winning than the losses. Like the Saquon drop, Falcons loss, man, that is tough stuff. Like, yeah, Sirianni should have probably took his points and whatever it may be. But that's just tough stuff. But it's like the Saints game, you damn near lost it for us. The Browns game, you almost lost it for us again. The offense wasn't amazing that day. It moved against a good Browns defense. Let me stop complaining there. The defense did not having a takeover on Deshaun Watson really makes me mad. And then last week, they blow the Giants out the water. No excuses there, but we're still having this first 15 play issue. So it really with how we're winning. They want a dominant win, and they got it. 28-3 doesn't even reflect how bad of a beatdown this was. So I get what you're saying, though. I like this team is a lot better than I think people on social media and whatever are giving them credit for.
Let's talk about what I think is prime time. If it happens, if Jaden Daniels happens to play, I think it's going to be one of the best games of the week. Is Bears Commanders. I think seeing number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft play for the first time in their career, it's going to be like Mariota and Jameis Winston. It's going to be Carson Wentz and Jared Goff.
Dude, no, that first one was like a really funny,
And funny enough, that can probably happen again this year, Danny. That same one you just.
Do the Browns play Commanders?
That's what I was saying. They play each other.
I would say they already did.
They already played.
They already did, unfortunately. But that would be funny.
It'd be hilarious. But nonetheless, I'm kidding it by that. This is obviously much.
No, it is funny though, because okay, let's think of Caleb in the worst way possible. He's this gunslinging dumbass, which is what Jameis is. And then if you think of Jaden Daniels in the worst context ever, he's noodled arm Marcus Mariota. All they do is run, and they can't handle the pressure. If you want to look at them in the worst way possible, but I would say through 5-6 career games, they're both better than those other two, respectively, already. All time.
Jameis Winston had the ultimate ceiling of all time, though. If he just had LASIK eye surgery and he was 17, that dude might be a Hall of Famer.
I don't know how much the LASIK eye surgery really plays into him giving the other team the ball 30 times, but Jameis certainly a character. Let's start with Chris on this one, though. We have I wouldn't say the hometown kid, but your hometown's guy, Caleb Williams, versus your favorite quarterback in this year's draft, Jaden Daniels. For Jaden, if he plays, this is going to be the by far best defense that he's played. I won't say by far. It's going to be the best defense that he played. What do you think that the Commanders need to implement? What do you think Jaden Daniels needs to do to get past this stout Chicago defense?
If he plays.
If Jaden Daniels plays and we watch Fortnite version of Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, then I think what Jaden Daniels needs to do is what he's been doing. This offense is designed around this kid, and I like it. A lot of short passes, a lot of stuff, and it's kind of built up over the weeks, as you can tell. And I know y'all are football guys, so y'all can tell even more than I can, but it's built up over the time. And I think you have to do the same thing if he plays continue to be as patient as you are, because like you said, the Bears defense is pretty good, and those dudes punch out the football really well. Like the corners, they're always punching at it. So I think it's just more of the same. Not trying to do too much because it's a big game, so to speak, in a sense of, you know, like what it would be number one against number two. I think just stay the course. Kind of what I was complaining that the Bears weren't doing for Caleb Williams, like trying to prove that he's the number one guy, trying to prove that he can do all these crazy plays. Like, yeah, bro, we know, we have eyes, we watched him, but like let him settle in. And I think that's what Jaden Daniels has done over the time. And I think if they continue to do that, they can move the ball in that Bears defense and compete. I think the Bears are really good. Obviously, we all thought they'd be pretty good if Caleb can figure it out, and he's figuring it out weekly. So I think it's just more of that for Jaden Daniels, continuing to be patient, showing his poise that he didn't necessarily show in college. So yeah, I think just more the same he's been doing, not trying to overdo it because he's playing Caleb, not trying to throw 70-yard bombs now because every single play because it's Caleb out there against him, you know. That's right.
Yeah. I love that.
Dan,
I got
the floor.
I think there's another game that I like.
Well, I wasn't done with this game.
Oh, I don't know if you were done with this game. But
no, I didn't even say anything yet. Yeah, I didn't even say anything yet.
You mentioned a little bit. I'm good on this game.
I didn't say. I was like, I didn't say anything. Oh, you mentioned Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Bizarro versions, and that's all I said about anything. I didn't say anything about the game. But yeah, I was absolutely agree. With Jaden Daniels, they've just been implementing what he's good at. And I think you kind of, you know, that might be a watered down, way to go into a game against an elite defense. But I would at least try it. But at some point, here's something I know for a fact. Caleb Williams, who has been showing a Victor Wembanyama level of weekly growth, is going to go into this game with the worst defense. I guess not the worst, another bad defense. So I know he's going to put points on the board. It's similar to the Eagles-Bengals thing. It's like, I know one side's going to put points on the board. It's a matter of, will the Commanders be willing to let Jaden Daniels break out of his shell enough to where that his explosiveness as an athlete and as someone who can push the ball deep down the sideline, will they allow him to be him as they try to keep up with the Bears? That's what I'm really looking forward to. I do have the Bears in this one. And if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, I dare the Bears to lose this football game. But this is going to be great. Unfortunately, because Twitter people are losers, the winner of this has wrapped up Rookie of the Year. And that's just sadly how it goes. They're not going to worry about the next 10 weeks of football, whether Jaden Daniels completely outshines Caleb Williams for 10 weeks or Caleb Williams completely outshines Jaden Daniels. The winner will be made on Sunday, unfortunately. But I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a great game. They rightfully took Eagles-Bengals out of the 425 game of the week slot, the Fox game of the week. And these youngins are about to go at it. And I expect Caleb Williams to have a big day against another bad defense.
The Diet Pepsi Rookie of the Week is coming. Not Pepsi, Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Caleb Williams is just not going to win one. He's not going to do it because Commanders fans take it way too serious.
Nah, this week, if he wins, he wins.
I don't think Bears fans I don't think they care. Unless they really want to troll Commanders fans. They're just not going to the Pepsi polls, man. They're not doing it. It would be funny if Jaden Daniels won all 16 and then Williams won the actual award. That's
100% happening. It's 100% happening just like that. That's my thought.
You know what was funny? You know what was really funny? Josh Giddey won Western Conference Rookie of the Month every year he was healthy, and then he didn't win the award. Actually, to a more extreme extent, Carmelo Anthony did the same thing, except on the other side, it was LeBron James. Who had to split it with Dwayne Wade. So it makes a lot more sense why LeBron didn't win every single one. No. Carmelo wasn't fighting nobody out there. But nonetheless, looking at the rest of the 4 p.m. window, we do got 6-0 Chiefs against the Raiders. They're probably going to take care of business. Like Danny said, Bills, Seahawks. That's going to be a pretty good one. I expect the Chargers to take care of the Saints. They really should. As much as I want a Rattler win, I don't see Jim Harbaugh dropping another one to a rookie quarterback against a super battered. Yeah, I expect them to win. I expect the Broncos to get their second win in a row as well. Feel free to stop me if you disagree on any of these, but I think the Broncos will beat the Panthers.
Hope so.
Okay, Danny, was the other game you want to talk about Bills Seahawks?
Nah, the other game I want to talk about was Sunday Night Football.
Oh, I actually didn't want to talk about that game, but we can get to that in just a moment. We will get to that, but there is a couple games from the 1 p.m. window that I do want to talk about very briefly. And the only time I'm going to talk about a 2-5 and a 1-6 team, it's Jets Patriots. The Jets continue to get juice with the pardon the noise, but you have Drake May, who's building steam every single week, and I think we can agree he looked really good last week as well. And then you have the Jets, who seemingly just lose momentum the more time goes on. So I'm really interested to see, what breaks here. Is Drake May going to take another weekly leap, or are the Jets going to figure this thing the hell out? And truth be told, I'm never too biased when it comes to my picks. It'd be real cool if the Patriots won this game, though. Drake May getting his first win in his first home start against their biggest rivals. And their rivals happen to have one of Brady's biggest rivals from the last decade and a half in Aaron Rodgers, at least from a quarterback position. It'd be really cool if they won. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know if you guys had. Did you guys have anything to say real quick on that one?
If they don't win, release Aaron Rodgers. If they don't win, release Aaron Rodgers because it's
where should Aaron Rodgers go? Who need Aaron Rodgers?
Dolphins.
Raiders.
Dolphins.
Oh no, Dolphins. You got Tua's coming back this week, which transitions it perfectly. We're gonna get Tua versus Kyler Murray in Tua's comeback game. And I have to say, I don't like the Cardinals' defense in this. Because when Tua's out there, this offense is just so functional. I got the Dolphins winning this one. That will put them at 3-4. And again, you're right back in the race, similar to a situation in LA. If you just get the win this week,
you're kind of funny though.
You're gonna be fine moving forward.
So many people say, "Well, Tua's not that good, man." Like, what? But why are the Dolphins so bad without him?
Okay, two things can be true. One, Tua runs that system to perfection, and the fall off from Tua to whoever the hell they have playing after him is
it's massive. I get that.
It's horrible.
But he's not bad.
How do the Dolphins every single year have the worst backup quarterback in football? How do they do it?
They signed Mike White, and
how? Skylar Thompson. How? Not when Tyrod Taylor is usually a free agent. Not when Josh Johnson is a free agent.
Not Ryan Fitzpatrick right now.
I bet, honestly, nah, you don't need him and Tua in the same room again. That's going to start.
What about Joe Flacco? They could have gotten Joe Flacco.
Not when Joe Flacco still wants to play football. No way.
Big Ben, go to Miami, buddy.
It's just no way that you make that decision with all these guys. Andy Dalton would have costed you nothing this offseason. Nothing. Because the Panthers, obviously, going into the season, were all full throttle on Bryce Young. It would have cost you nothing to get Andy Dalton to back up Tua. I'm not saying Andy Dalton's great. He's certainly better than Skylar Thompson and Snoop Huntley, though. So,
yeah,
he's better than Snoop. Don't ever make that face again.
Well, I just want to say
Snoop is ass. You too.
Snoop sucks.
But it is.
Andy Dalton's better.
Pro Bowl Huntley, though. That's all I'm saying. Just make sure you say that. When you say sucks, say Pro Bowl Huntley. Just all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. It's like once you get a Pro Bowl tag, it's like you're a doctor. It's like
it is.
You have to say doctor, PhD. You know,
that's
it's like
former Pro Bowler and former first round pick hold the same juice now. To me,
GG.
GG's in the chat. That's like saying former lottery pick in the NBA.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Falcons Bucks without the two wide receivers. I do expect the Falcons to get a bounce back win. Drake London, big game on the way. And then, unfortunately for the Jaguars, they finally have a good offensive performance, and then they got to play the 5-2 Packers. So,
the Packers defense is okay. Nah, it doesn't actually move me.
They had a good game last week. Yeah, they had a good game. They're not great, but last week, that was awesome.
Nah, so someone told me the Packers are basically one of two teams to come out of the NFC to win Super Bowl. And I'm like, you're smoking crack. Like, give me some of that, please.
It's not impossible. That's all I'll say. Jordan
I
Love.
think the NFC is an open book, dude. Like it could go to any 7 teams.
I mean, as of right now, I have no one beating the Lions, but I guess I agree with you to an extent. You know, on any given Sunday, I think the Falcons could mess around, maybe beat the Lions, but that's just from the standpoint of like I just haven't seen the Lions win it yet. It's kind of how a lot of people felt about the Celtics. It was like I just haven't seen them win the championship yet, so I don't know how confident I am in picking them. But now that they won it, people are saying that the Celtics ruined basketball. So
unfortunately, 2024, 2025 it's a legacy year. So the Yankees win the World Series, the Celtics win the championship, the Steelers, team of the legacy, they win the Super Bowl. It's just
y'all are the team of legacy.
That is true. We are the legacy team in the NFL.
Y'all are a legacy team, but y'all also aren't like good. So you have to have like legacy and be good.
So that comes down to nobody in the NFL.
Niners.
They're not good either.
Come on, let's be serious. Let's talk about them though, since you wanted to talk about the game. Cowboys Niners. Loser of this is in some deep stuff. And I hate to I hate to be that guy.
Mike McCarthy's fired.
Dak and friends, but yeah, I would say I hate to be that guy to Dak and friends, but I think the Niners are going to win this. I think McCarthy's going to get fired. But it's the Niners have lost games like.
They're funny. They got to be trolling.
They lose games in funny ways, and then they lost to the Chiefs, which is like, okay, that happens. But the Cowboys don't show me anything that makes me think turnarounds on the way.
The only game that they showed a little juice was the Steelers.
Yeah, and juice is highly questionable. You got taken to the brink on probably the worst game Justin Fields played all year, who's now sitting on the bench in favor of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson probably wins that football game.
Probably.
Because I would assume he'll get Pickens more involved and Pickens would stop crying. So they show me nothing that shows me turnaround. The defense still sucks. This is going to be a chance for the Niners to start building up back that run game with Jordan Mason. And then with the Niners, we know what the problem is. It's red zone offense. But they've shown me other things where I could be like, okay, we got something to work with. Now, without Brandon Ayuk, we got to see what are you made of, Purdy? Even bigger question, what are you made of, Kittle? You've been the second best tight end. You've been number 2 to Travis Kelce. For the entire time you've been in the league. Now it's Bowers. But you've been number 2 to Kelce for so long. You've been Kevin Durant of the tight end position.
Still is.
Can you be LeBron for once? Can you be number 1 for once? He's going to have to be lights out. He's got to get open for Purdy. I don't care how bad he's going to get schemed on. Purdy's going to rely on him. And not as some deep seam, wide open Kelce or Kittle. I need you to be Jason Witten, Brent Selleck, absolute security blanket.
Mark Andrews security blanket.
Mark Andrews level of security blanket. That's what I need. And they're going to have to build these methodical drives. Luckily, they're doing it against one of the worst defenses in the league. So this is a great week to get this offense going without Brandon Ayuk. But that's my thing for that. I got a Niners win. If the Niners do lose and they're 3-5, that's gonna be really bad for them. But I think they'll win, and I think Dallas will fire McCarthy. But I'll say this about Dallas at least. I think they have enough juice for interim head coach boost. I'll say that
they have juice, but I think it's still.
It comes in the form of 2 players, and Dak and CD. That's it. That's where the juice stops there. Jalen Tolbert isn't consistent juice. Brandon Cooks obviously isn't consistent juice anymore. Jake Ferguson, sadly, not, consistent juice. So, anything else anyone had to say about the Sunday Night Football game?
Nope. I think we said it all.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about the Monday game on our Sunday record. Obviously, after we talk about the 1 p.m., 4 p.m. slates or noon 3, wherever you're watching technically. So that will the Monday night, the Giants Steelers will wait, but that'll give Danny a lot more time to, prepare. Well, he'll have a lot more time to really get his preview off. So,
for sure. And I guess we can run through hots and locks pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I'll kick us off. I'll get my hot and my lock. My hot take is that the Raiders beat the Chiefs.
Ooh, okay. That's certainly something.
They beat them the last time they played. Mahomes tends to have CTE games against the Raiders for whatever reason.
That is just
Jack-
not true. That's not true. He had that one bad game last year. Otherwise, he's historically just given the Raiders the business.
Yeah, I think
What
Antonio
do you
Pierce.
want?
I don't know. I have this weird gut feeling that the Chiefs won't finish 17-0 and that they're going to lose to the Raiders.
But I literally said that earlier today. Like they're gonna drop a game against a team they probably shouldn't. That's my thought.
Like
I have a weird feeling Mahomes hits. I have a weird feeling Mahomes hits two birds with one stone, goes undefeated and three-peats just to crap on Brady's grave.
Would be crazy, but he's gonna like force feed DeAndre Hopkins and throw like 3 picks by accident or something like that.
He's not gonna force feed DeAndre Hopkins when his best friend plays tight end. He's just not gonna do it.
He's just gonna throw the 3 picks just because.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The more I think about this D-Hop thing, it's just like, okay, I'm stuck between Mahomes will bring out the Pro Bowler in him, and I'm also thinking
He's washed.
Eagles Julio.
Not
even Eagles Julio.
Titans Julio.
Bucks Julio.
Christ, ick.
Yeah, like I'm talking like Ravens Deshaun Jackson. That's how I'm starting. Saints Dez Bryant. That's how I'm really starting to think about it. But I'll spare Hopkins because it is Mahomes throwing to him, and I think he's talented enough. Mahomes is talented enough to figure it out. But you have a lock to put up, Danny.
Yeah, I got my lock. I'm gonna be a homer here. It's Pittsburgh Steelers against the New York Giants. I think New York Giants are one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Steelers are rolling. The Giants have 2 defensive linemen that I say are good players. The rest of the team, outside of Malik Neighbors, AS, and we have a really good corner. Joey Porter Jr. Locked up, can't get me out. Yeah, don't copyright us, please.
I can't wait to do the tracking on Neighbors versus Porter, specifically because me and Giovanni just had the conversation about Mitchell and Porter because Mitchell, he made Neighbors a non-factor. Granted, that's due to pressure and other things. That's all going to be factors. But
oh my God, T.J. Watt on a bad Giants offensive line, he's gonna be stat padding.
Oh, but okay. No, I'll save this one for when we preview that. But like Dexter Lawrence versus y'all interior line, that's gonna be a great matchup. I'm just saying. That makes me happy. But we can go to Chris. Your hot take and lock of the week.
Well, the hot take is that I just had it. Oh, the Panthers are going to beat the Broncos in Bryce Young's comeback.
Okay.
Y'all been talking about juice all day. It's nothing like bringing a 5'6" quarterback back when you have another quarterback who's 800 years old.
5'6". Oh my God.
So yeah, it's nothing like it. Chuba Hubbard, masterclass. Bryce Young, 13 for 19, 180 yards total, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 13 to 6.
95 yards total.
That's what I'm saying.
Touchdowns.
13 to 6 win. I can smell it right now, but that's my hot take. Panthers beat the Broncos. And what game you could lock in? Oh boy. There was a couple I was picking between, but you can lock in the Cardinals beating the Dolphins. And I'll tell you why. The Cardinals going to beat the Dolphins because
locking an underdog.
Yeah, I sure am. Because everybody thinks that Tua's going to come back and fix the problems. Unfortunately, he will not. And Budda Baker, get me out of here game. It's going to be the one. A pick, a bunch of good tackles. Somebody's going to be like, you know what, Budda, we're going to save you. And it's going to be because they beat the Dolphins. That's
get him where, though? Where does he go? And you can't see the Ravens because you don't need him.
Yeah, we don't. But we may not need Eddie Jackson either. We may not. But he's cool enough. But I will say, what's a team that's really good? You know what? Maybe he can go to the Bengals, but no, they don't pay people. I don't know, but get him out of Arizona. He's old enough now to where he doesn't fit that timeline anymore. But yeah, that's my lock. I think they beat the Dolphins. I think they beat the Dolphins.
Well, I'm going to continue with the super hots because there's not too many on the table this week. But I'm going to pick the Jaguars to beat the Packers at home. I liked what I saw from Trevor Lawrence in the offense last week, even 2 weeks ago. I liked what I saw for the most part outside of Gabe Davis not catching the ball. But I don't predict the Packers to have two absolutely unit of a football game on the defensive side in a row. So that'll be the hot take. My lock is going to be I'm going to pick Ravens over Browns. I know that's bad juju to do that to somebody else's team. If the Ravens lose this football game, though, they should be relegated. So we'll just put it like that. So just quickly to run down the hots and locks before we get into the NBA award predictions. Danny is lock. His hot take is that the Raiders will beat the Chiefs, and then his lock is the Steelers over the Giants. Chris is his hot take is the Panthers will beat the Broncos, locking the Cardinals over the Dolphins, and then I think the Jags will upset the Packers, and the Ravens are a lock to beat the Browns. If anybody was curious,
just so you guys know, if you're curious, $10 pays out 2,480 on Fanatic Sportsbook. If you parlay that,
yeah, y'all might as well. If y'all were interested, me and Danny hit on the locks last week. Danny locked the Eagles. I locked the Commanders. Chris locked the Texans. They unfortunately lost on the road. As for the hots, Chris hit with the Steelers. Danny missed with the Patriots. I think we already went over that. And then I missed with the Texans. So
part of it was right though. Drake May getting 250 plus yards and 2 touchdowns. So I got a half point there.
That's
no, true. You don't. No, you get nothing. That's what they said in Willy Wonka. You get nothing.
Willy Wonka, quoting Willy Wonka.
We are going to transition into some basketball, and we're going to go over basically all your basic awards. It's going to be a little bit rushed, but if you want some more explanation on the picks, me and Chris tweet about our predictions all the time. Fellas, let's start with MVP.
Let's hear yours. We'll go with yours. We know who you it is.
Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is winning this award this year. I think the Celtics will be good enough, obviously. And I think he's going, especially with last night. This was going to be my main reasoning, but after seeing last night, I feel even more juiced up about it. If he can hit threes at a 39 to 40% rate, it expands his game to an entirely different level. And when he's making those shots along with the playmaking that I know he's capable of, I'm willing to talk about him in some very, very high conversations with guys that he's just not there when his shot's not hitting. I also did want to give my hot take. I feel as if either Chris will agree with me or he won't. I think Danny's going to look at me sideways regardless, which is fine. Take it with a grain of salt. I am a Celtics fan. I think Jason Tatum is a better passer than Luka Doncic. You can look at me sideways. I get it. But I think Tatum creates plays in more facets than Luka does. Luka is a lot of driving kick. I think Tatum, especially last night, he was operating from top of the key. He's driving stop. Instead of a complete driving kick, he's forcing a big to come up, and he's dumping it right under. We saw the kick pass to Derek White. He had 5 assists to Derek White last night, if anybody was curious. So that assist network is on fire.
Yeah, and LeBron.
But I understand it's a hot take, so I'm willing to for people to disagree with me.
LeBron started playing football. He's playing quarterback now. He don't even
he's just doing stuff.
He's just playing quarterback.
But yeah, Tatum's my MVP. Didn't mean to ramble on that. I was really stoked about that win. I was really stoked that Tatum. It looks like his J is back to that year 3 type of jumper.
And if you're still thinking I have my MVP, and boy is it a hot take.
Yeah, go ahead. Man.
My MVP is Victor Wembanyama.
Spurs won't be good enough, but
I think that his season's good enough that's you'll forget the Spurs are bad. I think that after having 25 pounds on, I think that after playing in the Olympics, I think that year 2 Wemby is going to turn a lot of heads. I think he's going to break records. I think he's going to make you be like, wow, this dude is out of this world. He's going to have like 25, like 13, and like average 5 blocks a game. Like that's how good his season's
5 blocks is crazy.
He's not going to average 5. He's going to average.
Where do you have the Spurs finishing?
With a 36 and whatever record.
No shot. If you have to be like a top 4, like not to make you change your prediction, like maybe if we're talking about who's going to be the best player in the league next year, and you say it's Wemby, yeah, it's a hot take, but look, it's Wemby, you know, nothing's really too far-fetched. The Spurs just will not be good enough, though. You have to be like a top 4 seed to even. Luka finished got the Mavs in the top 4, and he still had no shot against Jokic. Whether that's a credit to Jokic or, you know, that's just how voting is. But
I also
mean, hey, it's a hot take. I do agree. It's a hot take.
Stephon Castle is going to elevate this offense as well.
Well, Chris Paul is going to elevate the offense, but
I think
Stephon playing some 2 though next to him.
I genuinely think Castle. It was the steal of draft, and was you picked a 4?
Yeah, he was picked at the 4. I think the steal was, to be entirely honest.
Don't connect. That's what the steal was.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He looked good last night, man. He looked really good.
Unfortunately, Danny, be careful on Castle. Be careful on Castle. I think he has the B word potential. I don't want to say it.
Don't say that.
The B word
player in this draft. Don't say that.
Yeah. I love him.
You know who has bust potential? Bronny.
He does. But Lakers are 1-0 with Bronny on the team, so. Best winning
Anthony
percentage.
Edwards is 0 for 1. He shoots 0% when guarded by LeBron James Jr.
That's all
Take
I'm
that
saying.
for data.
That's
I think I know who Chris's MVP is, but I got to hear him say it first.
LeBron?
You think you know. It's Giannis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
thought you were going to say Shea. That's a great pick, though.
I love Shea. Shea has more help
Rick
now
meets
to
fire.
he does a little less.
Come on,
I think Giannis wins MVP because he has to for them to compete and really be in that top 3 in the East. Middleton's knees are made of silly putty, and I don't think he's gonna be back when it really matters. So I think Giannis, for them to compete to be in that top 3, gonna have to do like a 33, 12, 6 assists, 2 block, 2 steal type of season, and I think it's hard to ignore when they're top 3. So I think that's why it's my pick. I pick Giannis for MVP. But
yeah, when Giannis is locked up by Andre Drummond tonight.
Andre Drummond.
Yeah, but he'll still get 30 and 12, unfortunately, Danny. And then it'll be like, oh, Giannis had a great game. But it's like, he kind of got locked, but 30 and 12?
Yeah.
That's the worst
no,
one.
Andre Drummond. Yo, screw both of y'all.
I'm 15 boards, by the way.
I did want to run off my ballot, though. I did want to run off what I think will be my MVP ballot. Tatum and Shea are at the top. They're a little reversible. I'm going to go with my guy, obviously, but I think those will be the top 2. At 3, I'm going to have Giannis. So that's why I like that pick so much. 4, I'm going to go Jokic. Obviously, he's the 3-time MVP. He's going to be one of the best players in basketball. And at 5, I was debating a couple different people. But, man, and this could be swayed a little bit because I really liked what I saw from the Lakers last night. It'd be so cool if Anthony Davis won it. It'd be so cool if this was finally the year he made some MVP noise. Or at least the first time since he was with the Pelicans. But that's just my ballot. We can move on to Defensive Player of the Year, where I'm actually going to pick Anthony Davis to win it.
Same as well.
We can go skip that because this is Here Damn Award. It is. Bam, you almost got your Here Damn Award this year. But after Anthony Davis said it last night, that little joke, and he played great defense and he killed Defensive Player of the Year. It's unfortunate.
AD and Bam going damn for damn.
That's what I'm saying. They're going damn for damn.
Not to give a ballot, but I would say Danny Victor would have been like a really good pick for this one. Like because I don't really know how much they're going to factor how good your team has to be for this one, but I guess we're going to find out.
It'll be hypocritical, Tone, if this team defense is not in the top 5, then according to Stan Van Gundy, Victor Wembanyama can't win it because that's why Anthony Davis didn't win it because Rudy Gobert's team defense was in the top 5 and his was in the top 17. So we'll see.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Do we want to move on to Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
Chris, you have a look on your face, man. Are you going to say JJ Redick?
You're damn right. And you know why? Off the simple fact of he doesn't give the Darvin Ham salute, for one. That's why he gets Coach of the Year.
Salute in the NBA huddle, bro.
No. You skipped the part. He said Keep going hard, them dudes. Salute. What does keep going hard mean? We're playing basketball. We're not fighting. But now, all BS aside,
Salute.
I don't have him for coach of the year. I do like JJ as a coach already from one game. They look like they're actually running basketball plays. And
bro, they said in his post game conference, he looked like he played a game.
He did.
Yeah,
because they water basketball
on him too. Yeah. But my coach of the year in real life is Mark Dagnall. Coach of the year. I think they get the 1 seed again, and I'm with you with Shea probably getting the MVP. This wasn't my pick, but I think he'll be in that realm. So I'll give it to Dagnall.
Okay, I like that. Danny, what are you thinking for coach of the year?
Yeah, my coach of the year is Ime Udoka.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I think it keeps the Rockets in playoff contention. I think that they're going to see a lot of growth. Second year, I believe, with Dylan Brooks now. I mean, he's going to be a solid. I don't know if Dylan Brooks is going to start for them now, but I just like their growth. I think Ime is going to. What is it? Year 2 of Ime?
Yeah. This is the second year of Ime, and I mean, there's a boatload of young talent while also balancing 2 or 3 vets. I think he's going to do a great job. I like that pick.
In a world full of freaks, I think we forgot how freaky Ime was.
Okay. Let's not go inside the mind of an Ime Udoka, but my pick, it's going to be the same pick as last year because I think I got screwed last year. I really thought it could have happened, but now with his star being ready week 1 or game day.
Oh, I know what it is.
Day, I'm going with our guy Taylor Jenkins.
Sure.
I think this year you have Jaren Jackson, who's going to start out with a hamstring, but he's not going to be as detrimental as losing the Ja. You'll have Ja, those Smart, Bane, Jaren Jackson,
Zach Edey,
and Zach Edey.
Indeed,
talking more about him later. But I think it's time. I think he's going to lead this team back into a top 6 playoff spot, and I think the impact that his coaching will have on some of these undersized units, I think he's going to get the most out of his bench guys. So he's my guy. But we can roll right in the rookie of the year. If y'all don't mind, I said we'll talk about Edey. I'm going to talk about him. I think he's going to win rookie of the year. And it's going to be off. He's going to have good production. Jenkins winning coach of the year. It kind of goes hand in hand. He's going to make Edey super effective. I think he could be a real staple he's going to be the staple on defense next to Jaren Jackson Jr., who prefers a 4 more to a 5, and I think their size can make up for maybe having to run Smart or Bane at the 3 in certain situations. Out of the gate, he's going to be one of the best rim protectors in the league. I truly believe that his instincts are great on that end. Offensively, he could probably get 8 to 10 points just from
Taco Fall scoring.
Yeah, but there's a little more logic to it because obviously Ja is one of the best rim penetrating guards in the league, up there with Shea and Edwards. Ja is going to do that as well, and the more that centers are going to step up to test him, Ja is still just going to dish right under. Edey's going to flush it down. You're going to get a lot of pick and roll with Bane and Edey. So he's just going to get a lot of good points because he's got some smart guards and he knows how to play the game.
Smart guards?
And okay. I didn't even realize what it is.
He didn't even know he cooked. He didn't know.
Bud doesn't even know what he's cooking. But Edey is a respectful post scorer for his however much value you think that holds in today's game is up to you. But his height, he's not a skinny, 7-footer. He's bulky and he can really get into opposing center's chest, and he loves that right-handed hook. I'm gonna go with Zach Edey.
Top 5 player in the NBA if it was 1985.
I don't know, like 85, maybe 75. 85. That's where the guards really start to turn up with Drexler and Jordan Johnson and stuff. But I get what you're saying. I'm being picky. Yeah. I did a complete 180 on Edey. I respect myself for that.
Yeah, and my rookie of the year is staying in Houston, Texas. It's Reed Shepherd.
Okay.
Some people refer to him as the next Steph Curry.
Don't know about
They are different bleak, but very good player.
my only worry about Reed
I
is
don't
just
believe
there's
that.
so many mouths to feed in Houston. But I think Reed's gonna get his. I'm not really. I think me and Chris said 18 times on our draft live show. Reed Shepard just went number 3 overall, and it wasn't even a horrendous pick. It was just like that was the guy at 3 for what the Rockets had.
Literally, bro.
So good pick, Danny.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick, Danny, and so great that I'm going to follow up with that being my pick because I think these two are the two front runners for Rookie of the Year for a couple of reasons. Just they'll get the most run, like that matters, and they'll play with good players. Like they won't just be getting like later minutes. Like you saw Dalton Connect yesterday as like a kind of like a spark plug. They used him as like kind of threw him in there, make a shot, got a bucket, got out. I think Reed and Edie get a lot of that shine. And the biggest thing with Reed Shepard, why I think he gets it, is because he brings what the Rockets don't have. The one thing they don't have volume shooting as far as threes go, unless you look at Jalen Green. So I think Reed Shepard has to get 20 to 28 minutes a game just off the strength. He has to be on the court. I guess volume shooting with Fred VanVleet too, but that's why I think Shepard comes in and gets that slightly over Edie, but I think those are my top two too.
Yeah. All right, so we run through
and then I would like to give honorable mention to Jared McCain and Dalton Connect.
Jared McCain, man.
Don't forget about Zachary Richardson, and this is why I'll say he's a sneaky. Funny enough, saying number 1 pick, sneaky. I think he's sneaky to get it if the Hawks realize that DeAndre Hunter is not an NBA basketball player. He's a basketball player, but not an NBA one. And I think the sooner they figure that out and have him running with Jalen Johnson, Richardson gets better. So I think
thanks for bringing up Jalen Johnson. That's going to bring me right to most improved, where I'm going to pick Jalen Johnson, where I feel as if when we're talking spirit of the award, I thought he was a little under-discussed in these conversations last year. And I think it had something to do with games played, but I think with DeJounte Murray, for lack of better terms, out the way, I think he's gonna shine next to Trae Young as his running mate. I really do. I could expect like a 19-8 type of season from Jalen Johnson. I'm a big fan of him, and from a number standpoint, it's not going to look that great, but I think he's going to have to qualify in games, and he's going to be the running mate to Trae Young. So Jalen Johnson is going to be my most improved pick.
My most improved pick is Jaime Jaquez Jr. He has all the tools in the bucket to just be a successful player for the Miami Heat. And we know very much in the games that without Tyler Hero last year, he's dropped 28. He's dropped 30. I think we've seen his ceiling is to be an elite scorer, play solid, hard-nosed defense. And I think that's who he is. So I really like Jaime Jaquez winning most improved player this year.
Picking a second-year player to win the most improved award. What happened to the game I love? You know Wemby's the favorite for this award?
I'm about to say that's my pick. Please say why, and I'll tell y'all why. It's not because he's going to be the most improved over the second year. It's because he's going to get the John Morant treatment when they wanted to give him Danny's award and give him MVP, but they can't because his team not good enough and or is another guy they want to give it to. So he's going to get that John Morant treatment and get the most improved player award. Now, do I think he's going to deserve it? I mean, yes, he's going to be way better than he was last year, but I see where you're coming from, Tone. But I think Wemby gets it off the strength of he's going to do 22, 12, 3 blocks. It's going to be hard to not give him something. So I think he's going to get most improved. The John Morant.
You're not ready for Tobias Harris to get the award.
Yeah, if Tobias Harris gets it in my NBA, I won't ever watch this sport.
We talking from a number standpoint? Maybe.
No, I won't allow.
Cade could also win it as well. But
you know who's the real sneaky pick to win it, y'all? I think Cade's a good pick to win it.
Who come bucket?
That's an insane nickname, but he's also a very good choice to win it too. The Giddler.
The Giddler?
I think the Giddler.
What is crazier, the Giddler or the cum bucket?
Maybe you get the cum bucket from the Giddler. Okay, but I think the Giddler wins it if Lonzo doesn't play 70 games. And you know I love Big Baller Brand, so I hope he does play all 82. But if he doesn't, I think Giddy's a name to watch because his numbers are a little crazy from last year if he gets to play 30, 32 minutes a game.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we knocked out MVP, Depoy, Coach of the Year, Most Improved, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year.
There's a couple names in here.
I'm just going with Malik Monk, to be entirely honest.
Easiest pick and probably the best pick, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just going to roll with that.
I'm rolling with CJ McCollum. He's come off the
Okay.
bench, and I think
Yeah.
he's going to be in that scoring role. And I think he's going to be back to who he was, not trying to actually make plays. Like he's not a point guard. He's a scorer.
I think it's gonna be very Lou Williams-esque. The
He's
type
going
of
to look
six
great
man
off
that
the
you can
bench.
win. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think Malik and CJ my two options, but I'm going with CJ for sure.
Very similar to what Lou Will said. He was like, I'm like a starter in this league, but it's like the way I check in, I'm probably going against some second-year guy or some vet who's bouncing around. It's just like, you're clearly not on my level. That's kind of the way it's going to be with CJ McCollum. It's like, he's let's take not the crap on the Sixers, for example. It's like, okay, Jared McCain checks in, and then he's got to guard CJ McCollum, which will probably hold his own. I like Jared as a defender, especially against an undersized guard, but CJ McCollum.
Y'all know another sneaky pick too to think about if he
I have
doesn't.
my pick. I got my pick real quick.
I forgot you didn't go.
A player who took over during the NBA playoffs last year is Benedict Mathurin. That's my pick for Sixth Man of the Year.
I don't think he played last year in the playoffs.
Didn't he?
No. You're thinking of
Neesmith.
Not Neesmith. I know who you're thinking of. You're almost there. Yeah.
Nembhard. Yeah. He's not.
Ben Mathurin would be a good one though. Hey.
I think Ben Mathurin. I think Ben Mathurin's still good. But no, is Nembhard starting?
Nembhard's not there. There's no fucking shot they start him next to Halliburton. They will let up 150 points a game.
Well, Mathurin's for sure come off the bench for sure. I know that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Somebody got to start there too.
Nembhard's at the 2.
Yeah, Neesmith's at the 3.
Nembhard starting at the 2.
Yep, because Neesmith's at the 3.
Naismith's at the 3. Obi's at the 4. Miles at the 5.
Nah.
Pascal at the 4.
On the bench.
Pascal at the 4.
Right.
No.
Jarris Walker.
Shout out my boy, Houston alum. Very good basketball player. Just was hurt last year. Very good basketball player, y'all. Don't sleep. Wait in 3 weeks when we come back to this, Danny. And you're saying
Most improved.
And you're saying Jarris Walker. Wow, he's all right. Remember this. What's this? 10/23, y'all. Remember this day.
Halloween.
Is there any other award that we need? Do you all want it?
Clutch Player of the Year.
LeBron James.
Most Hustle of the Year.
De'Aaron Fox is going to win Clutch Player of the Year because they always give it to a random. I'm giving De'Aaron Fox.
Tyrese Maxey. He showed he had the clutch gene.
There you go. I like that. How did I
like
miss
these?
This
is woke nonsense. I'm just going to pick the most clutch player of all time.
Paolo Banchero.
You guys are too woke for me.
The most clutch player of all time is Paolo Banchero. That's not a question.
I'm so
Mitchell,
sure.
By the way.
Donovan Mitchell would be like a name to win that award.
Yo,
it's just like it's not the best players in the league. It's just like that good 10 through 20 range. If you're in there, this is an award for you.
This is a Brunson award. This got Brunson written all over.
Yeah. This is that's a Brunson type of award.
Brunson gonna win the first Heart and Hustle award ever.
No, I'm pretty there. Every team selects a hustle award winner.
Oh, I thought it was just
because Marcus Smart's won it several times. That's why I know.
I do want to say I think my sleeper for Coach of the Year is Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, that could be one if the Hawks are surprising, which I doubt they will be. But it's a conversation.
I think Quinn Snyder's an awesome coach. So
yeah, it's just like trying to get Trae Young and friends to buy in on defense isn't always effective. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's a good pick. But yeah, with that being said, that's everything we have for today's episode. Again, we ran a little short on Monday, a little long today. It'd probably be a little more even if I could do my job correctly. But from AP New Freezer, Culture by Migos, and DC Comics, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys on Monday.